Hello again, this is Ron Puro, again just your average gringo who is on a quest to conquer and learn to speak the Spanish language. So in this video today, I want to take just a few moments to discuss one of the most important decisions that you should consider when you decide that you want to learn to speak a foreign language, or in this case Spanish. Now that big question is, why exactly is it that you want to learn to speak a new language? So maybe you want to learn to speak Spanish because maybe you have plans to move to a new country where Spanish is the primary language. Or maybe you need it for your job. Or maybe you want to get a new job that requires Spanish. On the other hand though, maybe it's just that you have maybe several Spanish speaking friends who speak the language and you just want to learn a little bit about their culture and maybe to communicate with them a little bit. Maybe this is just a new hobby for you. Or you might even be planning to take a vacation somewhere where Spanish is spoken and you really just want to maybe be able to learn a little bit for that trip specific. Now there's definitely no right or wrong answer here, but it's worth it to take a little bit of time to decide what your why is when it comes to learning a new language. So if you are on a mission to achieve fluency for professional purposes or like maybe to embrace the expat lifestyle, then it makes sense to take some time to craft a strategy and allocate study time and immerse yourself in real life language practice. On the other hand, if Spanish is just a fun hobby for you, like an exciting detour from the daily grind, then it makes more sense to keep it light and breezy. And there's no need to really reorganize your life and free time around getting your Spanish study in. I mean, after all, if language learning is really just a hobby for you, you would not want to ruin the fun of your new hobby by turning it into a grind that's almost becomes like a second job for you. So now let's go ahead and dive into a couple of scenarios. So in scenario A, where you do have a serious intent to become fluent on a high level, well, then I would suggest starting with a program such as El Método. El Método is a program made up of a series of classes that teach basic Spanish grammar and verb conjugation. There's many, I would say probably more than 100 versions of these kind of classes available, and El Método just happens to be the one that I used. The main thing here is that you find a class that's going to teach you basic grammar structures so you can become comfortable with the syntax of the language. And you can find El Método and similar programs like this on platforms such as Udemy or Skillshare. Now, in addition to online classes, I would suggest that you also add some sort of flashcard system to help kind of reinforce what you're learning and get that stored deep into your subconscious. And I found that even repeating classes several times just simply wasn't enough for me to be able to remember what I was learning well enough that I could actually recall it exactly when I needed it. Using flashcards did help me to kind of bridge that gap. My favorite flashcard system is called Anki. Anki uses the science of spaced repetition to build and strengthen your memory. I like Anki because I can use it on my desktop computer, I can use it on my mobile phone, and the program always stays synced, so basically between all the platforms. And also tons of decks that have already been created by other students that you can download for free. Or if you want, you can create your own cards. By using spaced repetition, you can effectively study basically thousands of cards. The system is going to show you the cards that you're struggling with most often. Again, the cards that you're actually doing pretty well with are going to come up less and less often over time. Finally, after you reach an intermediate level, I also suggest that you find a way to actually work with a human Spanish teacher. And the easiest, best, and lowest cost way that I found to find a live teacher who happens to be from your target country where you're wanting to go to, using a platform called italki. Italki is a website where you can find listings of language teachers who are based in basically just about every country in the world and who speak about any language that you can think of. And the teachers post maybe 4 or 5 minute videos that kind of give you a chance to see what they're like, so you can sense of if their personality is going to match yours or what have you. Then you can go right through that platform. You found your perfect teacher. You can actually schedule with them right on the platform and actually do the meeting with the teacher right there on the italki platform also. I found it to be kind of the lowest cost way to have an actual teacher to work for. So in addition to using these basic tools, I think it's a good idea to think about how you're going to adjust your daily routine. You can make room for this consistent Spanish practice. The reality is, it does take a pretty big commitment if you really truly want to become fluent in a new language. in my experience, it's definitely been worth all the work. Now, of course, if it is actually scenario B for you, then I would say there's no need to stress over all of the stuff we just talked about. In that case, I would just focus on keeping the process fun and interesting. I wouldn't let it become a drag. Instead, I would try to make sure I keep it as an adventure that you do look forward to doing every day. For this scenario, I would stick to methods and platforms such as Duolingo. I think Duolingo can be a good option if this is more of a hobby for you. They have actually found a way to gamify the process of learning a new language. You can actually feel good about whenever you reach new levels or if you've maintained a streak of days without missing studying on Duolingo. And also you can meet new friends in the Duolingo community. Bottom line on all this is that it's important to know what your big why is when it comes to language learning. Again, one more thing. You're not sure if it is scenario A or scenario B for you. Always start out in scenario B for maybe a few weeks or months. Just kind of see how you like language learning, see how it goes for you. And after that, a couple of times, if you decide that you do actually want to become fluent, at that point maybe it makes sense to go ahead and switch to scenario A and try to form a more serious, detailed plan. I hope this video has given you a few things to think about when it comes to your language learning journey. Whichever path you do choose, make sure you don't forget to always keep having fun along the way. Again, learning a new language is going to mean new friends, new adventures, new experiences. It's all going to make it worth all the work in the end. Finally, I want to say to you, que buena suerte. Good luck to you.